Welcome to my 10 cat training secrets. So this time I have 10 tips for you that will make a big difference in your success when training your cat to fetch or to walk on a leash or any other trick that you might want to train your cat to do. First thing, the very first one, is train your cat when your cat's alert. Um, I'm sure I probably don't have to tell you, but I'm going to anyway, that, waking up your cat to try to train them is really not going to work. It doesn't work for your cat, and it's not going to work for you, and you're not going to get the results that you want. So make sure that you are training your cat when your cat is awake. Okay, number 2 is be sure to have the right tools. So that means if you're going to train your cat to walk, you want to make sure that you have the best harness for your cat. It isn't necessarily the best harness for you, it's the best harness for your cat. And a kind of harness that keeps your cat from escaping and yet allows them freedom of movement. Same goes for if you're training them to fetch or anything else. You want to have the right toys. You want to have treats if your cat is motivated by treats. You may want to have some toys around or catnip to help, get their attention as well. Okay, so number 3 is consistency is good but not required. Now, I know being consistent with your training is always told to you as being super important. And if you've ever trained a dog, they tell you that, train every day. It's really good if you can be consistent. And, let's be realistic. Most of us are fairly busy, and consistent training isn't something that we can always do. So my videos, I'm going to show you how to train your cat without being consistent. I'm not consistent with my training. There are days that I train and there's days that I don't. There's days that I work with the cat and there's days that I don't. Take them outside, work with them a little further. There's a lot of different things. So you will make progress. Even if you're not consistent, it may be a little slower than maybe you are expecting. That is to be expected. Is your training probably won't go exactly as you expect. Okay, number 4 is to start simple. And what I mean by that is you want to start with some small things, like trying to get your cat to touch your finger with its nose. Maybe if you're going to teach it to fetch, you only toss a toy a little distance and then watch them bring it back. You can do it further, and give them lots of encouragement. But it's really important to start very simple. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you confidence in your training ability. It's going to give your cat confidence, because they're going to be able to do those things, those simple things, very quickly. And they're going to get a lot of praise, and that means they're going to want to do it again, and they're going to want to learn more things from you. So again, start simple, and that will give you a lot of success. Tip number 5 is, it really is just that, a tip. So you want to teach commands with gestures. So this is really helpful for your cat. So you're going to give them words to go along with gestures. Now, they're probably going to react more to your gestures than your words, but we want them to associate the two. And then they'll be more apt to do what you ask of them. And in fact, they'll do it when you give the word or when you make a gesture. Now, it doesn't matter what they are. For commands, you probably want to have your cat come. You can teach them to high five. There's, little tricks like that. Lay down, or I would just say down. So you want it to be a single word, if you can, and then some sort of gesture. Okay, so teaching your cat both commands and gestures means that ultimately, if you give them just one, the word or the gesture, that they will do exactly that action that you want them to. 6 is follow your cat's lead. And what that means is you don't want to push your cat or force your cat to do something that they're either not ready to do or don't really want to do. So you really need to pay close attention to your cat's behavior and their interest level. And you can keep trying these various commands. You can keep working with them and stuff, but you really want to follow your cat's lead when it comes to training. And then while you're taking your cat, like say for a walk, you're going to follow your cat's lead. Maybe on a particular outing, your cat doesn't want to go as far as usual. Maybe something spooks your cat, and they want to come inside. Or if you're also using a bag or some sort of backpack or crate, that they want to be, they want to feel safe, and so they want to go inside somehow. So it's really important that to have progress in your training, to really follow your cat's lead and what the cat wants versus entirely what you want. Like I said, you can push them a bit, but not overdo it. Number 7, you want to be paying attention to your cat. So in this case, you want to watch your cat really closely for any signs of fear. Okay, it's little things that the cats are not used to are going to cause them to be afraid. And the one thing that I'll talk about it in the next number 8 is about confidence. So if you don't want to be paying attention to anything else other than your cat. And when your cat has kind of a fearful reaction, and you'll know it, because instead of having their tail up and their ears up and they're walking fully on their legs, they'll be crouched down, their tail will be down. So you want to look for all those different things about cat body language. So a happy, confident cat is going to have its tail up. There might be a little crook in it, and their head's up, and they're alert, and they're looking around, and they're looking forward. Now, as soon as they're afraid, they're going to take a completely different stance, and they also might bolt or run. And in those cases, you want to be ready to be able to scoop them up, get them into a safe space, and calm them down. So number 8, confidence is contagious. Now, this is very true, and what is happening is that you being confident in your training, or being confident when taking your cat for a walk outside, whatever it is that you're doing, is going to transfer to your cat as well. So if you have any apprehension about going out, or you're worried about something, like say you're going to run into another dog, something like that, your cat's going to pick up on it, and they're going to be hesitant. So in those cases, they're not going to want to do, they're not going to want to walk, they're not going to want to train, they're not going to want to play a game. So it's very important. All of the tips before are really important in helping you gain confidence. So like having the right harness, and a harness that works for your cat, and that your cat can't escape, is huge for your confidence, so that you can't lose your cat. So that no matter what happens, no matter what reaction your cat might have, and it's very unpredictable, that you will still be able to grab your cat and handle whatever's going on. And that's going to make your cat a lot more confident, a lot more bold to go out and try new things. Number 9, you want to move at the cat's pace. So this is similar to tip number 7, but not quite. So what you want to do is, when you're training, you want to pay attention to your cat's interest level and the progression. So if you're paying attention and moving at what the cat wants, what the cat's pace is, you'll avoid those, big jumps or leaps that can spook the cat and then have you take steps backwards and then have to retrain that thing. So what I mean by that is, in the case of if you're training your cat to walk on a leash, and you've decided that what you want to do is you're going to make your cat, walk down the sidewalk. They probably aren't going to do it. But let's say, you are able to kind of, pull the cat a little bit. As soon as something spooks the cat, in that case, they're going to shrink back and hide and take off. And there's they will have lost some confidence. So that fearful event, whatever it was, is going to reduce the cat's confidence. And so then you're going to have to start over and build up again. Now this is something that I had to deal with. So to move my cats, both of their paces, to try to get them to walk on a leash, they weren't really ready for it. The going outside, even on a leash, spooked them. And so what I did is I got a cat stroller and I put them in the stroller, and we started off with the covers mostly over them. You know, they were enclosed, but they could see through the mesh. So we went that way and then started opening that up part of the time, opening up the covers so they could pop their head out and be more exposed to the elements, right? And they would see more. So they were going to see more people. My cats tend to be way more afraid of people than, say, dogs or even another cat. They're not afraid of other cats at all. But it was that kind of thing. So then finally I got to the point where I could walk, several blocks with the stroller uncovered, so the cats are able to poke their heads up if they want, or they can lay down. And after doing that for several months, then one cat in particular was more, he was ready to go outside on a leash by himself. He felt safe. And that's really important, is to make sure that your cat feels safe. And that's kind of what moving at the cat's pace is about. Now, my other cat, Finn, he loves the stroller. I have not been able to get him to walk on a leash outside, and yet he will go on a leash and he goes in the car. Whereas Val wants nothing to do with being in the car, and he will go outside and walk. So I try to work with both of them, but I'm working at their pace, and frankly, their pace is fairly slow. It's just a matter of exposing them just a little bit to something new so that they don't shrink back and really hide or run. Because if you push them a little bit too much, now you'll have to retrain that particular thing. Like I took it, kind of decided that, I wanted to take them outside on a leash by themselves, and it was too soon for the cat. So they no longer wanted to do that, and they didn't want to do it for weeks. And so I put the cat, started back in the stroller to get them used. We started kind of all over again. So in the stroller, getting acclimated to what is outside and out there. And then I could put the cat on the leash and let the cat go out. At this point with Val, we're still working on getting out of the front yard. And he likes the driveway, and he sometimes goes on the sidewalk, and at times he'll go several houses down, but he's not ready to go further. And so I don't force it. So again, whatever you do, move at your cat's pace, because even though the progress may be slow, and it depends a lot on your cat, and your progress could be fast, but if your progress is slow, it's okay, because that's what is safe for the cat. Your cat feels safe going only so far. They will try to go a little further. They'll feel really safe. It's kind of like a boundary. They'll feel really safe up to a point, and then someday they'll go a little further, and then they'll go a little further. It also helps to, expose your cat to somewhat fearful things, but always make sure that you have a way for your cat to feel safe. So often that means a bag, an enclosure, the stroller, something like that. Finally, the 10th tip is to have fun. Now, this is the most important tip that I could give you, is to have fun with your cat. And whatever training you decide to do, I don't care if it's, regular commands, come, sit, stay, whatever you want there, or it's tricks like roll over or high five or walking on a leash. Whatever you do, have fun with it and have fun with your cat. And this is for you as well as for your cat. All of these, the games and training and getting them outside and going places. So there are places that you can take your cat as well. stores, hotels, things like that. You take them on an airplane. Um, it's enrichment for their lives. It keeps them intellectually challenged. It um, helps them in some ways be a better cat. So you're going to have a lot less behavior problems because they have that. Um, they have something else. They have these games they can play. It keeps their minds working. They get to go outside and see new things, and they like it to an extent. And it's interesting to go outside. In some ways, there's always something new. There's always out here. There's always a lizard, but there are days when we don't find lizards. So there's always lizards, and then there's birds, and there's different kinds of birds, and the birds do different things. And so every outing for your cat is something new and intellectually challenging. And there's, something, a new sound that they haven't heard, and something for them to get used to. And it just makes for a happier and healthier cat. And it makes for a happy owner. Uh, it's a joy to spend that kind of time with your cat, and you will be rewarded by your cat with a really strong bond and this look of love that they give you. It's hard to describe. I've sort of gotten a picture of it. It's very hard to capture, and I hope that if you're going to train your cat to fetch and walk on a leash, that you get to see this and that you develop that really deep, close bond with your cat. And that you can talk to your friends who love dogs, who talk about the bonds with their dogs. And you can talk about that with them, about your bond with your cat. And it's like that. And I find it even stronger. The cats really look to you as their human, as their person. Mine follow me around the house. When it's dark, they herd me to go to bed. It's really funny. It's it makes me happy, and it's not something when I was a young kid wanting a cat that I ever thought was possible, because I had different ideas about cats than I do now. And I hope that you learn about that and that you have that bond with your cat. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.